crossover up to the spring sale PSN sale. This is a massive sale with a huge amount of games in it, but don't worry, I've done all of the hard work for you and I've gone through the whole sale and found the best deals with some really cool games that have huge discounts as well. So if you like the idea of finding some cool new games to play and saving a lot of money along the way, then you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe. You're welcome here anytime. This sale ends on the 8th of April, so that'll be your last day to pick up these deals. Let's look at the games. First up, we have Agatha Christie Collection 2. It was released in 2024, so it's 2 years old, but the games are older than that really, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £12.49, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal, considering this bundle includes both the PS4 and PS5 versions of Murder on the Orient Express, and the PS4 only London case. So you're getting 2 full games, and all of the available versions for them as well, which is pretty good. In these adventure investigation games, in the first one, Lloyd's London have hired you to consult and protect the sale of a famous painting, but after it is stolen, only your detective skills can solve the mystery and retrieve the painting. It features Hastings' first appearance in the series as well, so fans of Hercule Poirot will really enjoy that. And the second game is a modernised version of the classic, set in 2023 with brand new elements as a murder is committed on the famous Orient Express. Solving the mystery won't be easy, with numerous twists and turns as you unravel the mystery. Now I've completed a couple of games from this franchise, and I really love them. They're really good games based on a fantastic detective series. Each mystery always requires you to interview people, look for clues, and generally piece together the case as you go along, and often with branching storylines and different outcomes depending on your deductions, which is really great. So if you're a fan of detective games, and especially Hercule Poirot, then you'll probably really enjoy these games. Now there's a lot of them in the franchise, and at the moment there's not a bundle for all of them, so this is quite a good bundle right now because you're getting 2 of the newer ones for a pretty good price. But in the future, if they add a new bundle, there may be a better deal in the future, but that would rely on you not having any of the games, and also waiting a long time as well, I guess. I mean, they might not even make a complete bundle. Right now this is a good deal, so if you're tempted, check them out. You're getting 2 really good games for a pretty fair price. And hey, if you never played an adventure investigation game before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here. They're both really good games, but they're not the cheapest in the franchise, and you're getting 2 games as well. So if you don't like them, that's a lot of game for your money that you're not going to play. So you're better off starting with one of the old ones instead, but you can pick up much cheaper than this, like the ABC Murders or something. That game is on sale right now, but it's usually much cheaper, and it's very cheap when it's on a good sale. So you're probably better off starting there, unless you're not interested in Agatha Christie or this franchise, in which case there's plenty more options for you to choose from in this genre, so don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss your other options when they're on sale in future videos. We have a visual novel dating sim next, Arcade Spirits. It was released in 2020, so it's 6 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £3.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal. In this game, you get to experience a romantic comedy where the video game Crash Never Happened. Set in the 2000s, where arcades still reign supreme, you start an exciting new job in a local arcade where the staff are as eccentric as the customers. Now, visual novels aren't for everyone, there's a lot of reading, and that's why it's got the word novel in it, because it's like reading a book. So usually, if you're not into that sort of thing, you won't enjoy them. But if you're okay with reading, they've usually got really good, complicated stories, and they can really pull you in. It's kind of like reading an interactive book with graphics, which is pretty good if you're into books. Now, this is a dating sim as well, so you get to date the people in your job, and that's also not for everyone. But hey, if you're into visual novels and dating sims, then you'll probably really enjoy this game, especially if you're into games or arcades. The theming will really suit you. Generally, with visual novels, I say pick up the ones you like the theming of, because they're all really good if you're into them, and the only thing that differentiates them is the story and the theming. So if you're into arcades and gaming, and you like this sort of thing, why not check it out? It's not for everyone, but if it's for you, you'll have a lot of fun with this game. And hey, if you never played a visual novel dating sim before, then you could start here. If you're into arcades and gaming, then this theme will be up your alley, and it might be a good place to start, especially if you've always been interested in this genre. At this price, you can't go far wrong really. So if you're tempted, why not check it out? It might just be the most interesting genre you've played in ages. Oh look, another visual novel dating sim, Arcadia Fallen. It was released in 2023, so it's 3 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £4.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal, as this includes both the PS4 and the PS5 versions, which is great. In this game, you get to play as a young alchemist apprentice who is unwillingly bound to an illegal spirit, drawn into a war between humanity and magic. Your only hope is a group of unlikely heroes trying to save the world, including yourself. Now, as you just heard, visual novels and dating sims aren't for everyone, but again, it's the theming that really sells them. So if you weren't into the last game, but you'd like to look at this one with the alchemist and magic and war kind of aspects to it, it may be a more appealing story to you, and a bit more interesting if you're into this sort of thing. So if you're into visual novels and dating sims, and you like the look of the theming for this one, it looks pretty different, with a cool art style, and some interesting puzzles, then this might just be the game you've been looking for. So if you're tempted by any of this, why not check it out? It's another niche game, but it'll be a lot of fun for people that like this sort of thing. So check it out if you like the sound of it. And hey, if you never played a visual novel dating sim before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here. There's other cheaper ones around, like the last game, but again, like I've said, it's down to the theming. So if you really like the look of the theming for this one, or you're interested by the story, then why not take a look at it? This is a pretty unique game, and they're usually pretty expensive as well. But if not, you do have other options in this sale, and probably more in the future as well. We have a puzzle game next, Archaica The Path of Light. It was released in 2020, so it's 6 years old, and it's on at least an 85% discount for the price of £2.24 or £1.49 with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal, especially if you've got PS Plus. In this puzzle game, you get to uncover an intriguing story, unveiled by collecting hieroglyphs or completing harder levels in this light beam-based puzzler, where you must master different items to manipulate the coloured light beams and solve the puzzles. Now, I'm a big fan of puzzle games and I pick up quite a lot of them, and I picked up this one ages ago and I completed it, 100%ed it, and I absolutely loved it. Now, a couple of the puzzles were very difficult, or I found them very difficult, but the majority I didn't have too much trouble with. I found them enjoyable, and it was generally a really good puzzle game. So if you're into these sorts of logic puzzles, you'll probably have a good time here. The graphics are really great, and the game's just really good in general. I really enjoyed it, and at this price you can't go far wrong. So if you're a fan of puzzle games like me, why not take a look at this one? It's a really good game at this price, and I think you'll have a lot of fun if you like this sort of thing. And hey, if you've never played a puzzle game before, then you could definitely start here, especially if you're interested in the idea of this game, or the mechanics of the puzzles, then you'll probably have a lot of fun. But there is a huge amount of games in the puzzle genre, so if you're not that tempted by this one, you'll have plenty more options in the future, so don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss them when they're on sale next. I really like the look of the next game, Forgotten Anne. It was released in 2018, so it's 8 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £1.59, which is a really good price for a really cool looking game. In this 2D adventure platformer, Anne is an enforcer who keeps order in the Forgotten Lands, a parallel universe where all missing objects come to life, where you are trying to prevent a rebellion that will prevent you from returning to the real world. This game has phenomenal hand-drawn anime graphics, an orchestral score by the Copenhagen Philharmonic Orchestra, and generally just looks like a really high-production, good quality game, especially considering it's a little indie game. I think it's punching well above its weight. I love the art style, and it just seems like a really great game with a really cool and interesting story. So if you're as interested in this game as I am, if you've fallen in love with the anime art style, or you just really like the look of it and the quality, then why not check it out? I think it's a really cool and interesting game, and I think people that pick it up will have a great time with it. So if you like the look of any of it, why not pick it up? You might just have a great time if you give it a chance. And hey, if you never played a 2D adventure platformer before, then you could start here. It's at a really low price, and it's a really cool game with a really great art style and an interesting story. Pretty much the only reason I'd say not to pick this up is if you're not interested in the story or the theming, or you just fancy a different game from the genre instead. And if that's the case, don't worry, keep up with the videos, and you won't miss your other options when they're on sale next. Our next game is Ghost Parade. It was released in 2019, so it's 7 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £6.99, which is pretty decent. In this Metroidvania, after school you decide to take a shortcut through a mysterious forest, and now you're lost in a spirit-infested forest, involved in a battle to save the spirit's home from destruction. It features 30 ghost companions to fight alongside, and a really cool art style as well. Now, I'm a big fan of Metroidvanias, and there's a lot of really good ones, and this one looks pretty good. It's not that cheap right now, but it's not that expensive either. It may not be the biggest, most well-known Metroidvania around, but it's got some pretty decent reviews, and people generally seem to enjoy it. So if you've played all of the big ones, or you're looking for another one to play, or you just like the look of this one in particular, then why not check it out? It's a little known one, and it's not a bad one either. It looks like a pretty good game, for a pretty decent price. And hey, if you've never played a Metroidvania before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here. You can get much bigger AAA legendary ones for way cheaper than this, so you're much better off starting with one of them instead. But hey, if you really like the look of this one, then check it out. It looks like a decent game at a not too bad price. But if you'd rather start with a better game, then don't forget to subscribe, and you'll have plenty of options to choose from in future videos. Up next is Marsupilami Hoop Adventure. It was released in 2021, so it's 5 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £3.19, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty decent deal, as this includes both the PS4 and the PS5 versions, which is great. In this adventure platformer, after 3 Marsupilamis find a cursed sarcophagus, they unleash a terrible curse upon all animals, and now the friends must adventure to chase the ghost and ward off the spell to save all the animals. It features 36 levels across 4 worlds to explore, and some really pretty decent 3D graphics as well. Now, I looked at this and I was like, that kind of looks familiar. Where do I know that from? And after digging through the ancient dustiness of my past memory, I kind of remember it being a cartoon when I was a kid. I never watched it, but I do remember the leopard thing with the long tail, so it's definitely based on an existing franchise. And it's got some really good reviews as well. They're pretty positive, and these days you don't see a lot of adventure platforms like this, so it's nice to see a modern one with a franchise attached, so that's a bonus. So if you're into adventure platformers, or you remember Marsupilami more than I do, then you might want to check this out. It just generally looks like a really good game from an old school genre. So check it out if you're into retro games. You might have a lot of fun with this one. And hey, if you've never played an adventure platform before, then you could start here. It's a modern one with a franchise attached for a pretty low price. So if you like the look of it, or you remember Marsupilami and you're a fan, then this could be a good place to start. There is a huge amount of games in this genre though, so if you're not into Marsupilami, or you just don't like the look of this one, you'll have plenty more options to choose from in future videos. So don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss out in the future. Up next is my star by Pathfinder Kingmaker Definitive Edition. It was released in 2020, so it's 6 years old, and it's on an 82% discount for the price of £2.87, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal, as this edition includes the new game features and 6 full DLCs as well, so again the complete version of the game with a load of extra content included, which is really good. This RPG is based on the acclaimed Pathfinder series, where you go to explore and conquer with your party in the stolen lands of Golarion, a world rich in history, mystery, and conflict. It features real-time combat, with the ability to pause the game, and also the ability to switch to a turn-based strategy system instead. So if you're not a fan of the real-time pausing system, you can just play it straight up turn-based, which is a pretty cool idea, and really unique. It also features character customization, 12 companions to play as, kingdom building, which is pretty cool, and land conquering and management as well. So I guess it's got some RTS elements, and generally it's just a really good mix of genres, and just seems to be a really good quality game. So if you're a fan of old school style top-down RPGs, or you like turn-based strategy, or just games with a lot of strategy in general, especially if you're into management games or old school RTS stuff, then this unique combo of gameplay will really appeal to you. It's a really cool game with a load of really cool features. It's got great reviews and a load of extra content included. If you're into any of this sort of stuff, I think it's a very different and unique game, and it'll be really interesting and really cool for you if you pick it up. Like I said, it's my star buy. It's well worth your time and money, I promise. And hey, if you've never played an RPG before, then you could start here if you're into top-down isometric ones, or you've been interested in this sort of style of game. Like I said, it's very different and it's got a very interesting and unique mix of genres and game content. But if you've always been tempted by this genre, and you like the look of this unique mix of genres, then why not start here? It's a really good game at a really low price with a ton of content included. So you can't ask for much more really. If you like the look of it, why not pick it up? But if not, you will have more mainstream options and other games in general to choose from in future videos. So don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss out in the future. Planet of Lana is our next game. It was released in 2024, so it's 2 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £3.39, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal, as it includes both the PS4 and the PS5 versions, which is good. In this adventure platformer, a peaceful planet in balance has been invaded by a faceless machine army. On the run, you must survive with the aid of your companion animal on a journey to try and maintain the balance of your peaceful home in a story that spans galaxies. Now, I've never heard of this game before, never seen anything about it, and I'm pretty surprised because it looks like a really cool game, and it's got really good reviews as well. The art style and the graphics seem pretty cool, and it just generally looks like a really cool platform adventure, with a really cool and interesting story, and even some stealth elements put in as well, which is pretty cool. It looks like a really good quality game, for a really good price. So if you're a fan of adventure platformers, you should definitely check this out. I think the story's really cool, and a lot of people will be really interested if they take a look at this one. Definitely check it out. I think it'll surprise you, and you might be tempted to pick it up. And hey, if you never played an adventure platform before, then you could start here. It looks like a really good quality game for a pretty low price. If you've always been tempted by the genre, and you like the look of the story and the graphics in this game, then why not pick it up? My gut feeling says it's a really good game, and I think you'll really enjoy it if you pick it up. But if not, there is a load of options in this genre, and a lot of them are pretty varied as well. Especially in the theming, you'll have plenty of options to choose from in the future. So if that's the case, don't forget to subscribe, and then you'll have plenty of options to choose from in future videos. We have a unique fighter next, Senko no Ronde 2. It was released in 2017, so it's 9 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £6.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal, as unique anime games like this are usually pretty expensive, so it's not a bad price for this sort of genre. In this game, in the far future, following the Great Disaster, where humans live in colonies on Mars and the Moon, various factions fight to rule the Confederation, and this game features a unique mix of bullet hell and fighting game for a very different mech fighting experience. So if you're into fighting games, but you want something a bit less mainstream or a bit different, then you might want to check this out. It's definitely different and unique, and it's got a very heavy anime theme to it. So if you're into anime, you'll probably really enjoy this one. Anime content's usually pretty different and unique itself, so a fighting game based around it is definitely going to be unique and different. Especially if you're into sci-fi and space combat or mech combat, that's some pretty rare content in itself, and this game's got loads of it. This game may be a bit of a niche within the genre, but hey, if this is your sort of a niche, I think you'll have a lot of fun if you pick it up. So if you like the sound of this game, definitely check it out. It's very different, but if you're into this sort of stuff, I think you'll have a lot of fun with this one. It might just be one of the best games you've played in ages. And hey, if you never played a mech fighting game before, then you don't have a lot of options really. There's not that many of them, and they're very unique and usually pretty expensive. But this seems like a pretty decent game at a pretty fair price compared to its full price. So if you're really into this, and you've always been tempted by this genre, then definitely take a look at it. But if you want something a bit more mainstream, or you're not really into this sort of theming, then you'll have much better deals from more mainstream games or other slightly different themed ones as well. But don't worry about it. If you keep up with the videos, you won't miss them when they're on sale next. We have an old school game next, Spelunker HD Deluxe. It was released in 2021, so it's 5 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £3.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal. In this platformer, you get to experience a full remake of the legendary classic game, delving deep into caves full of dangers, creatures, and nasty traps as you overcome obstacles in search of buried treasure, and it features 4-player local and online multiplayer as well, so you can play it with your mates, both online and in person as well, which is pretty cool. Especially if you like playing games with your family, friends, or at parties, this might be a cool game for that, especially if you all played the original. It might be a cool stroll down memory lane. Now, the original game this was based on is very ancient, like older than I was alive, and I've been alive quite a while at this point in time. But hey, if you remember those old Atari days, then you'll probably remember this game and want to see what the remake is like. For modern gamers, they've probably never heard of it, but generally it's just a really fun retro-style game that you can play with your friends, which is pretty cool. So if you're into retro games or you remember the original and you like playing games with others, then why not take a look at this? It's a unique mix of genres, but I think it's a really fun retro blast from the past. So if you're into it, definitely take a look. It looks like a pretty cool remake. And hey, if you never played a platformer before, then I guess you could start here. It's a very different and unique game, but it's got good heritage and some really good multiplayer features as well. Especially if you're looking for a game to play with friends, this could be a really good game for you. So if you've always been tempted by this genre and you're a fan of retro games, then you might want to start here. But if not, you'll have plenty of other options in this genre, and they'll all be around this price, or not too much more as well. So if you're looking for something a bit different instead, don't worry, I'll have plenty more games for you to choose from in future videos. We have a detective game next, The Testament of Sherlock Holmes. It was released in 2012, so it's 14 years old, and it's on an 87% discount for the low price of £2.59, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal, especially for a cool game from a good franchise. This adventure is set in Victorian London in 1898, where you get to play as Sherlock Holmes, investigating the theft of a gemstone collection as you gather clues, interrogate suspects, explore crime scenes, and investigate clues and leads to unravel a web of deceit and solve the crime. Now, this is from a pretty big franchise of Sherlock Holmes games. There's quite a lot of them, and they're all pretty decent. Fans of this genre really like these games, and they've got a really good following, mainly because they're pretty good games. They're pretty much the best Sherlock Holmes games you can buy. So if you're a fan of detective adventure games, and especially Sherlock Holmes, you should definitely take a look at this. It's from a really big franchise, and it's at a really low price. You can't go far wrong really. If you're tempted at all, definitely take a look. I think it'll probably be the best game you've played in ages, especially for this price. And hey, if you've never played an adventure detective game before, then you could definitely start here. It's a really good game from a really good franchise at a really low price. Especially if you've always been interested in Sherlock Holmes, it'll be a great place to start in this genre. But if you don't like the look of it or you're not into Sherlock Holmes, then you will have other options. They just might not be quite as cheap as this one, but you will have other options. So if that's the case, don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss out when they're on sale in future videos. I really like the look of this next game, UFO Robot Grendizer, The Feast of the Wolves Deluxe Edition. It was released in 2023, so it's 3 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £12.49, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal considering the full price, and the fact that this is a deluxe edition, which includes both the PS4 and PS5 versions, and the DLC mission, The Prince from Another World, plus a Royal Outfit cosmetic. So you are getting some meaningful DLC and the complete version of the game, which is pretty cool. In this action game, after the Empire of Vega destroys your home planet, you take refuge on Earth, where you must now fight to defend your new home from the Vega invasion by piloting the giant robot Grendizer and the Spacer ship to destroy the invading robots and forces before they destroy your new home as well. Now, this is from a pretty old anime franchise, which I never watched, but it's familiar enough to me because I watched a lot of other anime back then, that it looks quite familiar, and it kinda mixes in with a lot of the other anime I used to watch. It's very nostalgic for me. I really like the look of it, and it just looks like a really good quality game as well. There's a mixture of genres because when you pilot the ship, it's kinda like Lilac Wars or Star Fox, if you don't know what that is. Where you're on rails and you fly the ship and shoot stuff. And then there's the combat where you pilot the robot and you get to fight in areas and cities against other big monsters and robots, which is really cool. If you're into anime mecha stuff, this game's right up your alley and you'll probably have a ton of fun with it. I really like the look of it myself. It's very nostalgic for me. Kind of reminds me of Guy King and stuff like that. So when it gets a bit cheaper, I'll probably pick it up myself. This game looks amazing and it's got some pretty good reviews as well. It might just be the coolest game you've seen on sale in ages. So definitely check it out if you're tempted as much as I am. And hey, if you've never played an action game before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting here. It's a very unique game that's got a lot of appeal to it, but it's just not quite that cheap right now. So it's probably one to pick up in future. But hey, if you're excited as I am and you can't wait, you've always been tempted by this genre, then why not take a look at this game? It's a very unique one within the genre, but I think it's a really good one and it'll appeal to a lot of people. It might just be the best game you've played in ages. So if you're really tempted, check it out. But if you'd rather get a better deal, then don't worry. Keep up with the videos and you'll have plenty more options in future videos. We have a puzzle platformer next. White Shadows. It was released in 2021, so it's 5 years old, and is on at least a 90% discount for the low price of £1.59 or 79 pence with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal, especially if you've got PS Plus. In this puzzle platformer, you get to play as a little raven girl trying to escape a brutal dystopia founded on oppression and violence by exploring a vast network of towers within a city to discover her destiny among the last 3 people alive. Now, this game's got some pretty good reviews and it's got a really cool and interesting art style. It reminds me a lot of Limbo, that was really popular back in the day, and it seems a lot like that really. A really cool and stylized puzzle platformer with some dark aesthetics to it and some horror-y vibes. Overall though, it looks like a really cool game with an interesting world and a cool little story to explore as well. So if you're into these sorts of puzzle platforms with cool art styles, especially at this low price, you're getting a lot of game for your money. This is a really cool game. So if you like this sort of thing, definitely take a look at this one. It's a really good deal, and you can't ask for much more at this price, so definitely check it out if you're tempted at all. And hey, if you never played a puzzle platformer before, then you could definitely start here. It's a really good quality one with a really cool art style at a very low price, so you can't ask for much more really. If you've always been tempted by this genre, then why not start here? You never know, you might just have found your new favourite genre. And the final game I have for you is Yumiutsutsu Remaster. I don't know if I said that right, but I gave it a good try, right? It was released in 2020, so it's 6 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £10.79, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal considering the normal full price. Anime games like this are usually pretty pricey, so this is a pretty good deal considering how expensive it normally is. In this visual novel dating sim, you get to play as a country girl who joins a small game development studio where she meets a quirky cast of characters, learning about game making while also piecing together the mysteries of her colleagues as production starts on a new game. Now, there's been quite a few visual novel dating sims in this sale, and this one's a bit different because it's a girl love game, which is a really weird way of saying it's a lesbian dating sim. Anyway, if you're into visual novels, like I said before, there's a lot of reading, but the stories can be really cool, and then mixed in with a dating sim, if you're into that as well, it's quite a cool mixture. Then this is even a niche within a niche within a niche. It'll be right up your alley. So if you're liking the look of this game, then why not take a look? It's definitely very unique, that I think a lot of people would enjoy if they like this sort of game. And hey, if you never played a visual novel dating sim before, and you haven't picked up one of the other two that are already in this sale, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting here. It's more expensive than the other two, but it's also a bit more niche. If you're looking for a dating sim that only has girls in it, then you might want to pick this up. But if not, you do have other cheaper options that are even similar theme to this in this sale, and probably in the future as well. So you're much better off starting with one of them instead. And if that's you, pick this game up instead. You'll probably have a lot of fun with it. And that's all the games I have for the spring sale PSN sale. What did you think of the games I picked? Did I pick good ones or did I pick bad ones? And what about the star buy? Did it deserve it, or should some other game have got it instead? Leave all your comments below and we can talk about it later. Anyway, I hope you found some really cool games to play, but more importantly I hope you saved a lot of money. I'll see you guys in the next sale. Au revoir.